Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to NoDQ Live here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/AaronRift NoDQ. So, I am back in Portland, Oregon. Very fun and memorable weekend in San Francisco. I did this lengthy road trip, had some amazing experiences, met some really cool people. I would like to thank Cindy, Robert, and everyone else for a great time in San Francisco. Sadly, it's back to business now. No more vacation. And the first part of my return to normalcy is Monday Night Raw. Rooster says, I did not watch Raw, so am I better off? Yes. I spoiled, as Kayfabe Candy Ass put it, I pretty much spoiled my review in the title of this video. I thought creatively this Raw was an F. Wrestling-wise, it was a bit better. The main event was pretty good. But creatively, I felt like they took the night off. They just threw stuff out there, stuff we've already seen before. There was no creativity to set up these matches, a bunch of video packages, segments we have seen many times in the past. A segment that was filmed last week and WWE did not even try to make it look like it happened on a different day. Come on now. And I want to apologize. I am dealing with a little bit of a cold. I caught one during my trip, so if I sound a little off, that's why. But I still have some ranting to do, so let's go ahead and break down this show. Disclaimer, if you enjoyed Raw, turn this video off now, because at best, this show was a D. So let's go ahead and talk about it. We had a video package opening up Raw. Roman Reigns, Bobby Lashley, same old video packages we always see. The usual spin, WWE cutting to crowd shots of all the positive signs, including Roman's foot hit the floor first from the Greatest Royal Rumble. Yeah, right. And then, of course, all the other pro-Roman Reigns signs. Then we had a backstage segment with Roman Reigns and Lashley. And the crowd actually did, I think, a pro-Roman Reigns chant saying, "Let's go Roman." Although Chase Ennis says they were chanting, "Let's go Celtics." I thought they were chanting for Roman, which is interesting because when he came out, it sounded like he got a lot of boos. But then again, it also felt like he was getting some cheers as well. It definitely felt like one of those John Cena mixed reactions. Bobby Lashley in the backstage area said that he dared Reigns to call him out. So Roman Reigns came out, and everyone's saying it was "Let's go Celtics." Okay, so I must have been hearing Roman for some reason. Maybe WWE has brainwashed me that badly that I'm thinking Roman 24/7, even when nobody's chanting for him. TK Belkin left a $2 super chat donation. More kitties equals more no DQ. Can you see her? Yeah, she's under my arm. There she is. She was happy I came back. The cats were very happy. But enough of that. If you want to see the cats, head over to youtube.com/AaronRift for my personal page, which actually does have more subscribers than this channel. Can we change that, guys? You got to spread the word. The best way you could support the website. I appreciate everyone out there that bought t-shirts and visiting NoDQ.com. That's great. But best way you could support, and the super chats, of course, best way you can support NoDQ is to spread the word. Word of mouth really goes a long way. Tell a friend. I know you know somebody who watches wrestling. So tell them, hey, Aaron does this series on NoDQ.com. He does a really good job at it. You should check it out. He rants sometimes. Go check it out. Brent says, can I have a free t-shirt? No, and I will get to that in a few minutes here because I'm getting a little bit of heat from people, mostly people in the NoDQ inner circle, but I'll get to that in a few minutes here. So anyways, back to Reigns and Lashley. Actually, before that, I just got a super chat donation here from Alex Pershing, $5. I'll be at Extreme Rules live in Pittsburgh, so if you'd like, I can call in after the show to give live perspective and reactions. Keep up the solid videos. Thank you for that, Alex. And yeah, let's do it. Let's have you call in after Extreme Rules during the live review video. And by the way, I'm sorry about you having to attend that show. I feel bad for you, but maybe they'll surprise you. Maybe it'll be like Money in the Bank. It'll exceed low expectations. John says, I am the only one of my friends who likes wrestling. David says, Aaron Riff for governor. I appreciate that. Randall Johnson says, do you think WWE will actually serve us with Lashley winning on Sunday? Who knows? I mean, it could happen. Something's got to happen, right? Brock Lesnar has re-entered the drug testing pool and is hoping to get in the UFC mix, possibly in January for a fight against DC. Dane Q82588 with a $5 super chat donation. This year's Raw makes Vince Russo look like a booking god. At least Russo made things interesting, although after a while he was doing the same thing every week too. The swerve where you think the guy's going to do one thing and then he does something else. Russo just did that to death, to the point where the best swerve is no swerve. But the thing about Reigns and Lashley that I thought sucked was they did this tired, played out, pull apart brawl that we've seen many times in the past. It's done to death. It's like the contract signing. One of those types of segments I would just put in a vault and bury it 600 feet in the ground and stop doing it for a while, for many years, because it's old. It's very weak television writing when you have to keep resorting to the same old angle, but the crowd was cheering for it. So what do I know? Jonathan Coachman has this 1 hour phrase. For every hour, he has a different phrase. So my phrase for hour 1 of Monday Night Raw this week is rerun, because I felt like I was watching a rerun. And Power Packers 90 makes a great point, which I will talk about here too. Something else I did not like about this segment. So it's one of those segments where all the guys that come out and try to break things up, they come off like a bunch of prelim guys, a bunch of jobbers, a bunch of jabronis, whatever you want to call them. And one of those guys was Finn Balor. Finn Balor was basically resorted to being one of those random geeks, the mid-card Raw locker room coming out there, and Finn Balor was just one of those guys. You would never see a top-tier star in that group. So you know the guys that WWE is really trying to protect when they're not in one of these types of segments. But Balor was there, so yeah. Balor clearly is a jabroni as far as WWE is concerned right now. And Rude was out there. Authors of Pain were out there. So to me, Balor was the most noticeable, and I think the announcers even acknowledged Finn Balor. So that's one thing I didn't like. And then to top it all off, you know, of course, everyone's trying to break them up. They keep fighting. And then Roman Reigns does his big... I even called this. I'm watching this and I'm like, all right, Reigns is going to do the Undertaker dive. And sure enough, that's exactly what he did. He did the dive over the top onto everybody, which if it was the first time, it'd be awesome. But they've done it so many times. Undertaker has done it so many times. Reigns has done it. I actually did a Google search and I found at least three different occasions where Reigns did that dive onto a large group of people. One of those times was a pull-apart brawl between Triple H and Roman Reigns to set up WrestleMania 32. Are you kidding me? You did the same exact segment with Roman Reigns just 2 years ago. It sucks. It just stinks. It stinks. I'm like the critic. It stinks. It stinks. It stinks. So yeah, I have zero interest in Roman Reigns versus Bobby Lashley, other than curiosity if the crowd is going to crap on the match, which they very well might. And before I get to the rest of Raw, I want to add my thought on Bobby Lashley. So Bobby Lashley later in the show cut a promo, and he said he respects people. He even respects Sami Zayn. Excuse me. Bobby Lashley said he respects Sami Zayn, despite the fact that Sami Zayn made fun of his sisters, despite the fact that Sami Zayn made fun of Lashley being in the military. So now Lashley respects him. And here's the thing, he doesn't respect Roman Reigns. Huh? How does this make any sense whatsoever? What has Roman Reigns done? He's a stand-up guy. He's the big dog. He always triumphs over evil. How do you not respect the guy in the storyline? Of course, in real life, it's hard to not respect the guy because he's just doing his job. But in storyline, why would Lashley not respect Roman Reigns? It makes no sense. And Lashley's supposed to be a face, too. Oh, that just really annoyed me. And Reigns calling Lashley Bob, too, just gets on my nerves. But I've established that before. Steve Herman says, what's up, Aaron? Haven't been on here in a while. Hope all is well. Raw is trash. Randall Johnson says, WWE Creative are full of idiots. Kayfabe Candy Ass, let me do it. Kayfabe Candy Ass says, Roman whines and called Lashley a bad partner when he was the one too prideful last week. Yeah, I guess so. Whatever. You're trying to defend it. That's fine. Yes, Curtis, my volcano levels are going up. I have very few positive things to say about this show. And I'm going to keep going here. Ken terminated by Google with a $2 super chat donation. Nice Jay Sherman, John Lovitz reference, dude. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Michael Wayne says, this WWE creative needs to die in hell. Or just actually do something different. I'm so sick of it. All right, so that's all I have to say about Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley. And in case you missed it, in case you missed the opening of Raw, they showed it at least 2 or 3 different times on the show. So we had like maybe, I think the opening segment and all that went about 25 minutes. Then you had another 5 to 10 minutes. So almost maybe 45 minutes out of a 3-hour show was built around Reigns and Lashley. And even during one of the matches, they had, that cutaway where they have the wrestling on the small screen and then they have the promo on the big screen. Cindy says, Lashley's character more confusing than the Sasha and Bayley feud. Turbonia says, was Elias on the show? Yeah, he was. I'll get to that in a few minutes here. Let's talk about the women's tag team match. I'm trying to go in order here, but I may go all over the place. We had, of course, because last week there was a one-on-one match with people at ringside, so this week you had to put everybody together again and do a tag match, right? So we had the tag team match. Oh, I want to go back one more time. Actually, no, I'll wait for a few minutes before I go to that. I had something else I wanted to say about Roman and Lashley, but I actually want to tie that in with another segment. So the tag team match was Alexa Bliss and Mickie James against Nia Jax and Natalya. Of course, Alexa had to use the kendo stick to try and gain an advantage over Nia Jax. Nia Jax grabbed the kendo stick from her and Alexa took off. I believe, I'm trying to remember now, I believe Nia and Natalya won, but I'm not actually 100% sure on that off the top of my head. I just remember the kendo stick bit. Not looking forward to this match. Ronda Rousey's going to be there at ringside. Yes, Hamp, it was, Raw was copy and paste show again for sure. Chase Ennis says, Alexa's ass the only thing noteworthy. Andre says, was the show bad tonight? Question mark, like 6 question marks. Well, based off the title, I think you know the answer to that one, or maybe you're just being sarcastic. I'm not sure. Nia pinned Mickie. Okay, yeah, that's what makes sense. With a leg drop. Whoop-de-doo. So yeah, I don't have any interest in the match. Ronda Rousey's going to be at ringside, so angle alert. She's likely going to do something, get involved. I would be shocked if Nia won back the title. I think the outcome here is quite obvious. I think we're going to have Alexa retain the title, either by beating Nia or some kind of DQ or something. Scarecrow Gomez says, wasn't Natty Ronda's friend? What was she doing tagging with Jax? Well, apparently Jax and Ronda are cool again. I don't know. The whole thing's so dumb. Just a couple weeks ago, Nia was being a heel. Now she's being a babyface again. I just don't care. I really don't care about it. All right, so what next? Is there something positive I can talk about? Let me think about it. No, not really. So let's talk about the B team and Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt. So we had Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel do yet another promo dressed up as Wyatt and Hardy. Okay, imagine if DX did their Nation parody and it was only half as funny as it was. And then imagine that they did the same routine 3 weeks in a row or 4 weeks in a row. It would be annoying. And this is what this was. It was funny the first week they did it. When they started doing it over and over again, it's just running the joke into the ground. They did nothing to evolve the comedy. I thought it would have been funny if Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt came out dressed up as Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas. To me, that would have at least been something different and playing mind games and just changing things up a little bit. But no, they didn't do that. It was just Matt Hardy versus Bo Dallas this week, and Bo Dallas beat Matt Hardy. So, yeah, 3 weeks in a row, Matt Hardy has jobbed to the B team guys. Twice to Axel and once to Bo Dallas. I don't care about this match either. I sound like a broken record here. We're going to be doing the predictions video, and it's going to be Money in the Bank all over again. But maybe Extreme Rules will live up to the expectations, or should I say surpass the expectations, because mine are like so low you can't even see my hand right now. I fully suspect that the B team will lose. If they win, then guaranteed rant right now. I'll say this right here on NoDQ Live. If Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt don't squash the B team in 5 minutes, I'm going to complain. Because this should be a one and done. Matt Hardy, Bray Wyatt win. Bring in Authors of Pain. They did show a clip of the Revival watching on the monitor, so maybe that'll be the next feud. B team, it's done. It's not funny. It was maybe funny the first time they did the impressions. I'm over it. I've been over them since that barbecue segment. That was still one of the worst segments of the year, because I still remember it several weeks later, and not in a good way. B team needs to go away. It's terrible. It's kickoff show material at best. Yeah, I'm salty tonight, guys. Again, I apologize if I'm being too negative, but I did not enjoy the show. And I'd like to say it was a great show because I want people to be interested in wrestling. I want people to go on NoDQ.com. I make more money if you guys go on the website and you're invested in wrestling and you want to know what's going on. If you're not interested and you're turned off of wrestling, I make less money. So for people out there that say I'm being negative on purpose, that's not the case at all. I am pretty much the most unbiased wrestling review person on the internet. I have nothing to gain by criticizing Raw. I have things to gain by praising Raw. People don't seem to understand that to this day. I would love to lie to you guys and say Raw was amazing and you should check it out, but that's not how I roll. I try to give the most unbiased, fair review of the show, and the writing on this show is just garbage. Only way I can describe it. So, second hour of Raw. What would be a good phrase for the second hour of Raw? How about tomato? because that's what I would like to throw at the WWE writers. A bunch of tomatoes for their very lousy writing and attempt at comedy. Not just the B team, but we had a segment with Seth Rollins and Mr. Record Scratcher Dolph Ziggler came out. He still has the record scratch. Why? I still don't understand it. Hamp Kano with a $2 super chat donation. Well, I don't watch anymore, but here's some money. Well, thank you for that, Hamp. I appreciate it. Mike B with a $25 super chat donation. Thank you for that, Mike B. I feel better now. Bo should join his brother in the Woken Warriors. Sarah Logan possibly as Sister Abigail when the Riot Squad breaks up. She has the same hairstyle as Bray as it is, so it'll work. You work, Aaron. You rock, Aaron. Excuse me. Thank you for that. I really do appreciate it, Mike B. You were awesome. Everyone is awesome, by the way. Except for that guy outside. All right, so back to the Seth Rollins Dolph Ziggler promo segment. Drew McIntyre was out there. Rollins was trying to get Drew McIntyre angry at Dolph Ziggler, saying, why are you taking orders from this guy? And then in one of these lame-ass comedy segments, we had Seth Rollins ask, is there something you're trying to hide, Drew? Do you have pictures out there? Do you have pictures with sheep? So basically he made a bestiality joke and it fell so flat. There's no excuse here. It sucked. It was not funny. It was really, really cringy. And if Roman Reigns said this or John Cena said this, the internet would just blow up with everybody saying this is the worst thing ever. They would never let it down. So Rollins is not getting excused, and it's not his fault. It's the material given to him. Same thing with AJ Styles with Cammy. WWE gives their top baby faces. I guess this is a good sign for Rollins that the company sees him as a top guy because they're giving him the Cena Reigns comedy lines, which are terrible. They're so bad, and whether it's Rollins or Reigns or AJ or Cena, it doesn't matter who says it. It's bad. If it's bad, it's bad. As Curtis says, it was a bad idea. I like that. That was funnier than the actual line, I have to say. So thank you for that, Curtis. Dapster says sheep jokes are better than Sparkle Crotch. Oh, don't even get me going on that. I blocked that out from my memory, the Sparkle Crotch. I guess the funny thing about that was that Seth Rollins was mentioning pictures when we all know his past from a few years ago. So yeah, quite interesting that Seth Rollins, of all people, is making a joke about secret pictures out there that could be exposed. Turbonia says the IC title waste on Dolph. I'll go ahead and talk about the main event and then get back to the rest of the show just because I want to stay on topic here with Rollins and Ziggler. So they're having a 30-minute Iron Man match this Sunday at the pay-per-view. And the main event for Raw was Ziggler versus McIntyre. And if McIntyre won, he gets to be in Ziggler's corner. So basically, if he wins, we get outside interference most likely at the pay-per-view. So they had a good match. One positive thing I'll say. They had a really good match. I enjoyed it. The negative is that McIntyre won. So now he can legally be there at ringside in Ziggler's corner. I don't have any interest in the match, though. Even though I know it'll be good with those two, I just don't care at this point. I hate to say, I don't think there's anything on this show that I'm looking forward to. And I know some of the matches, like Rollins and Ziggler, will be good. But the writing is just so bad, I'm not invested. I don't care. I just dread it. So I thought the main event was good, which is why I will not give this show an F. Now, back to the negative. All right, so we had Sasha Banks and Bayley. More therapy segments, only this time there was no Dr. Shelby. So WWE registers the trademark for Dr. Shelby, and then he's not on this week's show. I think they teased him being on Raw, but he wasn't. We had a different therapist, but here's the problem. It was the same exact room as last week. So was WWE that lazy that they could not record the segment in a different room, build a different set, just go into a random room and do a different segment somewhere else, so we could at least maybe think that it happened a different night instead of being recorded the same night as the other sessions? Very lazy. And this is a company that's getting money from Fox. Really. And it was crap. I mean, there was really nothing to it whatsoever. It was just a waste of time. I mean, they didn't even really advance the storyline, just more of them kind of arguing and ripping into each other. And they were short segments, and that was it. There was not much to it at all. By the way, $2 super chat donation from this guy. To solve the overcrowded roster, do NWO with Bray. Well, New Japan's already doing the NWO with their Wolfpack versus NWO Hollywood routine, with the Bullet Club being split into two groups. Santos with a $2 super chat donation. Knowing WWE, can you see Dean and Seth versus Drew and Dolph? Probably, because I don't think Dean Ambrose is going heel. I'll believe it when I see it. I want him to turn heel, but I sense he's going to come back. He's going to be a babyface, which initially coming back he should be. And I think he's just going to stay a babyface. I'll believe it when I see it. Cindy says the Bullet Club versus the BC Firing Squad. There you go. Braden says, don't make too big of a deal on the Fox thing. NFL's TV deals are insane, and the ratings aren't even the main point anymore. Well, my point is that WWE has so much money now that it really doesn't matter what they do, and they're still cutting corners, even though they could spend a little bit more money. I just felt like, was it really that difficult to record the Sasha and Bayley second therapy segment in a different room, so we could at least believe that it happened a different day? How hard would that have been? I don't know. It's just little things like that that grind my gears, so to speak. All right, so let's talk about Braun Strowman and Kevin Owens. Owens showed up. He decided to be in Kurt Angle's office so he could be safe. And then Braun Strowman appeared with a new t-shirt, Monster in the Bank. So my gut feeling is he's going to be holding that for a while. Since he has a new t-shirt, WWE has to sell those t-shirts, right? Hamp Connor with a $2 super chat donation. Do you think Fox has any idea of what they are getting? That's a great question. They might not, but you know, WWE, they run a strong business. I'll give them that. Creatively, it sucks, but there's enough people out there that will buy into it. WWE does such a good job with marketing that they can bring in fans and they can run a profitable business. Got this one here from this guy, $2 super chat donation. Elias looks like Randy Savage and should be pushed. I agree on both counts. I always thought he looked like Damian Sandow, Seth Rollins, and Randy Savage. If you put the three of them into a blender, you would get Elias. But yeah, I'm definitely into Elias. I have been sold on him. I know for a while I was kind of like, this guy's doing Rock Concert 2003 knockoff stuff, but I think he's coming into his own. But back real quick before I get to the Elias tag team match, we had Owens backstage with Kurt Angle trying to hide from Strowman. Strowman showed up, and Kurt Angle announced, which was already revealed quite a while ago over on NoDQ.com, that there will be a steel cage match at the pay-per-view, so Kevin Owens will have nowhere to run. Whoop-de-freaking-do. And to top it off, the big closing segment to build up to this match, Strowman sprayed Owens with Febreze. That was the final build-up to their Extreme Rules steel cage match. Oh my goodness. Wow. I mean, this has to be even worse than when Booker T and Edge feuded over shampoo. Braun Strowman sprays Kevin Owens with Febreze, and that's the go-home angle to set up their steel cage match. What the hell was this? I really want to give this show an F. I'm not going to because of Rollins, but this was bad. This was so bad. Dylan says at least Edge and Booker T made that entertaining. Stalker714 left a $2 super chat donation. No comment. Excuse me. Chris May said, no wonder Lesnar never wants to appear. Travis W. says, what did KO do to Braun Strowman? And Trebonia says, how in the heck is KO the heel? I'm trying to figure that out myself. I guess just because he's annoying by default and Strowman doesn't like annoying people. I don't know. I'm not even going to try to explain it. So we had a tag team match. We had Elias teaming up with Constable Corbin against Geek Finn Balor and Bob Roode, another geek at this point. At least the finish here made sense because it's Corbin versus Balor at the pay-per-view. And by the way, it's the played out big man versus little man. WWE just did it with Daniel Bryan and Big Cass. The big man, little man thing. And they're doing the same exact thing with Corbin and Balor. Just because it's a different brand doesn't mean you do the same exact angle. For crying out loud. How hard is it to come up with something different? What a bunch of geniuses they have over there at Titan Towers, or whatever that building is called now. But yeah, Roode took the fall, which I guess makes sense since he's not on the pay-per-view. Corbin pinned Roode. I still feel bad for Bob Roode, however. The fact that he's pretty much got nothing going on for him. He jobbed out to Mojo Rawley at a live event over the weekend. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on with Roode at this point, but feels like he has really cooled off since going to Raw. Just like the Usos have cooled off since going to SmackDown. So we had a rematch from last week. We had Liv Morgan versus Ember Moon again. This doesn't make sense to me. Why would Kurt Angle agree to this? If Liv Morgan said, I want a rematch with Ember Moon, I'd be like, no, you lost. You're not getting another chance at her. You lost cleanly. At least if there was a dispute, it would make sense. But Ember beat her clean from what I remember. And they're doing this match again. Why would Kurt Angle agree to it in the storyline? Makes no sense. Beastmaster with a $2 super chat donation. Jinder is a legend. Jinder is the best. All right, well, thank you for reminding me of Jinder because he actually was on this show. And by the way, Ember won again. So, totally pointless. Just filler. That's all it was. Jinder Mahal was backstage with Seth Rollins doing his little chanting again, trying to get Rollins to chant with him. And Rollins just walked off as Jinder and the Singh brother were there in their deep meditation doing their chants. WWE has no idea what to do with Jinder. He's basically back to the old Jinder Mahal. Basically enhancement talent. I mean, they're doing nothing with the guy. I mean, he was slowly on the decline. He went from the WWE title to the US title, and now he's not even wrestling on Raw. He's just doing backstage comedy. So yeah, back to being enhancement talent. Nice run you had there, Jinder. Has a WWE champion ever fallen so far from grace? I think that's a valid question right there. Macafall says, I like Jinder better than Brock, though. Well, there you go. I'm not sure how many people would agree with you on that, although some people are down on Lesnar right now. Kayfabe Candy Ass says, talk about how the Riot's music is the same, only without the oi, oi, oi. Yeah, so here's a little bit of controversy. So I said on Twitter, if Ruby Riot changed her entrance music or turned babyface, I would give away a free t-shirt. Now, Ruby Riott was not on this show, first of all. So if we're going with technicalities, Ruby Riott has not come out with new music yet. The music that Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan came out with was a slightly altered version of their previous theme song. Most notably, as Kayfabe Candy has pointed out, they took out the oi, oi, oi. To me, that's not good enough. It's got to be a total overhaul, a different song, not the same song with a slight remix. You know, it's like when The Rock would come out and the next week they would alter his song just a little bit, change the beat a little bit, or add another line from The Rock. That's not good enough. It's got to be a completely revamped song, and it has to be Ruby Riott herself. If Liv Morgan has a new theme song, that doesn't count. It has to be Ruby Riott specifically. So, the people complaining, by the way, were Cindy. We're not complaining, but saying I had to give away a shirt. Cindy and Big G were saying, Aaron's got to give away a shirt now. Not giving away a shirt yet. And Ziggler still hasn't gotten rid of the record scratch, so that is still up for grabs at this point, too. No problem, Cindy. Glad to clarify it for you. All right, so is there anything else I'm missing now? Oh, the tag team match. Did I talk about the tag team match? Yeah, I did. Corbin pinned Rude. Is there anything else I'm missing from Raw? Other than video packages, I know WWE brought up Rousey going into the Hall of Fame. Let me know if I'm missing something. Oh, Mojo. Okay, thank you for that. I did talk about the main event. I thought it was good. Oh, the Itsy Bitsy Spider promo. I actually liked that. I'm going to say something positive. I actually did like that because Corbin is supposed to sound terrible. He's a heel. So I like the fact that he actually sang really poorly to Elias's music. That was good. I did enjoy that. But yeah, I forgot to talk about Mojo Rawley versus No Way Jose. I did tweet about it. I'm not surprised that Mojo won. Hopefully No Way Jose doesn't get a rematch next week. But knowing WWE, he probably will. Next week we'll have a rematch for no reason whatsoever. The announcers will say, No Way Jose went to Kurt Angle and demanded a rematch. So we're having a rematch. That sucks. It's done. No Way Jose can go back to main event or whatever he's been doing lately. Or move on, do something else. Done. It's done now. Mojo Rawley moves on to the next person. No more No Way Jose matches. This guy with the $2 super chat donation. Ember Moon better be the women's champion several times. I think she has the most star potential right now, unless WWE ruins her, which very well could happen in the near future. Chris May says, could Strowman cash in on Lesnar at a UFC event to get the Universal title back? Highly unlikely. I would say extremely highly unlikely. I think there's a better chance Chris Benoit gets acknowledged on WWE television. Maybe he'll be on something else to wrestle if they do another season. I'm enjoying that show, by the way. I definitely recommend that if you guys haven't been watching it. I totally understand why it got so popular. I think they do a great job. But I've already answered that question on video. Good stuff from those guys. To me, it's the best content on the network right now. I wish they would do more of those video podcasts. I don't like audio podcasts, but I do enjoy watching the video podcasts on the network. I miss Austin's. I wish Austin's would come back, but I guess it was a little too controversial, excuse me. All right, so I think I said everything else about Raw that I wanted to say. I respectfully disagree with you, Baystash. I thought Camp WWE was terrible, but I do put my stamp, my NoDQ stamp of approval on Something Else to Wrestle. Very enjoyable podcast. I think both of them play off each other very well. I like both of them. I think both of them do a tremendous job. I did talk about the Roman interview. I covered everything, I think. So letter grade for Raw. It gets a big fat D from me. That sounded bad. But yeah, that show was below average. Writing was an F, but there was some good wrestling. Main event was pretty good. So I'll give it a passing grade of a wonderful, big, fat D. And if you like the show and you still enjoyed my video, thank you for that. I appreciate it. I'm curious to see the feedback for this video. I'm sure there will be the WWE apologists that say, oh, that show was awesome. You're just being overly negative. All you ever do is complain. Stop watching it if you don't like it, and all that good stuff. I had to pull out the D on this one. I think I did a couple weeks ago. I had to pull out the D again. Cindy gave it an F minus, so she doesn't respect Seth Rollins. I'm throwing out that respect thing again. She doesn't respect Rollins because Rollins is a great wrestler, and he can at least deliver in the ring. Maybe not with the Rock style comedy, but at least he can wrestle really well. Oh, I did want to mention the coach. He actually had a good line that I liked. Oh, I don't have a word for the third hour of Raw. I guess the word for the third hour of Raw would be Rollins, because I feel like Rollins saved the show from being an F as far as I'm concerned. And McIntyre too. But I can only use one word, so I'll go with Seth. Now I totally lost my train of thought as to what I was going to say next. So I will say thank you all for watching. I appreciate you tuning in. Before I sign off here, I want to see what people thought of Raw this week, but Firefox doesn't want to open. I'm curious to see what you guys thought about the show. If I'm out of touch this week, because I was pretty negative tonight. I think this was the worst review I've given for Raw in a while. Maybe I'm just tired. Maybe because of the cold and coming back from a great trip in San Francisco, I'm just a little burned out, and I need to get some sleep. Okay, it got largely no's, a little bit better than last week. 66% no, 34% said they enjoyed the show. So it's still, if we're going on the Rotten Tomatoes scale, it's 34%, which is rotten. So yeah, that Raw was definitely rotten. I think my D is definitely fitting for this show. All right, guys, so I will go ahead and sign off here. Oh, the coach. The coach making the reference to Jim Ross and the ribs. I don't know if you guys caught that, but he did mention that people in wrestling lately have been dealing with bad ribs. I thought that was quite amusing, a little reference to what happened to Jim Ross. If you don't know what happened to Jim Ross, head over to NoDQ.com. Yeah, Jim Ross got hurt legitimately. So it wasn't just the guys in the ring at New Japan, but Jim Ross also got injured because of the guys brawling there. And I think JR fell when they got thrown into the guardrail and it collapsed, and then JR fell as a result of it. And apparently JR asked specifically for them to not brawl by the commentary area. And as a result, JR had to cancel a couple of his appearances. Interesting stuff here. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for that. So I'll go ahead and sign off here for this edition of NoDQ Live. I got to get some sleep, got to get some rest. I will be back tomorrow night for another edition of NoDQ Live. Maybe I'll talk more about New Japan and the trip, but I need a good night's sleep here. So thank you all very much for watching. I appreciate it, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you do, share it, spread the word, and stay tuned for more. See you guys next time.